Chidori! Oh, that didn't work at all. But that's almost as much fun to say as Rasengan, but I'm not saying Rasengan because I said that like 5 times today, filming my last Naruto vlog. But I kept getting interrupted, which is why I had to continually restart that and do it multiple takes. But anyway, uh, Miguel Kaganindin here, and this back with another Naruto vlog. Today we're doing volume 20, Naruto versus Sasuke. Like, wow, what a title. That's kind of... I remember reading that title and I was like, oh, wow, we're just like hopping right into it, aren't we? We just got off of... We just jumped off of the Orochimaru encounter with Tsunade, and it's just like, alright then. So, when we last left off, Tsunade had just accepted her position as the 5th Hokage, and everyone's happy. Orochimaru is, off somewhere, trying to get his arms healed. But we do still have a lot to worry about. The Orochimaru mark on Sasuke, the Akatsuki, Itachi, and Kisame somewhere. All these things that we have to worry about. But for now, I appreciated the time that they took to give us a little breather and take a look at how these... Sorry, you may notice I have ink stains on my hand. But anyway, I appreciate the moment that they gave us to return to Konohagakure, just like take a look at how everyone's been doing, just like take a step back from all the serious stuff that's been happening to really see how daily life has resumed in Konohagakure, even despite everything bad that's happened in the past, like, couple of volumes or such, starting from the Chunin Exams up until now. So, we do actually get some confirmation as to the results of the Chunin exam, and it turns out that Shikamaru was the only person who passed the Chunin exams, interestingly enough, which is very strange because I remember Shikamaru not being... He wasn't the only one that people were impressed with in the Chunin exams. People were impressed with Hinata's resilience, with Sakura and Ino going at each other, even Naruto overcoming both Neji and Kiba, first in the preliminaries and then in the actual in the actual final tournament. I remember a lot of people being super impressed with a lot of these candidates. But I suppose like Shikamaru's genius was just that good. I don't know. Like I would contest those results myself, but you know what? It's a thing. Shikamaru's the only one of them who progressed onto Chunin. I contest those results because I think that, like, given that Konohagakure has just gone through a major battle, and they actually say that they lost about half or more than half of the shinobi who partook in that battle to defend Konohagakure from Orochimaru. Because of that, I think that they should have promoted a few more people to journeyman, especially considering that there were multiple ninja, Naruto, Sakura, Shikamaru, who all helped stop Orochimaru, and Gaara, who all helped stop Gaara from rampaging. So, yeah, I feel like that should... I don't know. You know what? I'm not a ninja. What can I say? Maybe their standards are a little higher than mine. But anyway, beside the point, Shikamaru's a Chunin. So, we do cut back to Sasuke. Sasuke has been in a coma since his battle with Itachi, as is Kakashi. And Tsunade, being the medical specialist that she is, comes in and manages to wake them up. And she also meets with Rock Lee, who we will recall has lost the usage of some of his limbs, and she says that she recommends telling it that he will never be a shinobi again. That, even if he in the off chance he regains the movement in his limbs, in the off chance the operation that she plans is successful, which is a 50% chance that Rock Lee might actually die in this operation. But even if it succeeds, he should not do shinobi work anymore, because his spine is just like so messed up that he shouldn't do it anymore, and that sends Rock Lee spiraling. I really like Rock Lee's progression in this volume, because up until now, Rock Lee has not been one to give up. Rock Lee has been the epitome of perseverance, right? Because he was taunted as a child, and he wants to prove to everyone that he can become a ninja purely through taijutsu. And he has established this rivalry with Neji that he has not been able to fully see through. And Might Guy has been like mentoring him all this time, telling him a ninja does not go back on his word. When a ninja makes a promise, he follows through with that promise. A ninja also establishes these rules for himself in order to, not only to make him a better ninja, but also to make sure that in the future he can be, well, basically just to be a stronger ninja. Honestly, I'm trying to find a good way to word it, but it's basically just to be a better ninja. But the fact that Rock Lee might actually die from this operation, and that everyone is telling him not to do it, it's a similar problem, but it's on a much larger scale with much larger risks. Now his very life is at risk. So does he choose to follow his dream? Does he choose to follow through with his promise to prove to the world that he can be a shinobi despite only being capable of taijutsu? Or does he save his own life? It's a tough choice, and I really love that Rock Lee doesn't immediately jump to of course I'm going to go with the operation. He has to take a moment to really think about it, and Might Guy has to come in and talk to him about it and convince him to take the operation, because he knows how much this means to Rock Lee, and he knows even if he lives, he will live, and he doesn't go through with the operation, he will live with regrets, he will live a very sad life, and which is something that he doesn't wish to subject him to. So I really like that Rock Lee and Might Guy Rock Lee has to be persuaded by Might Guy in order to go through with the operation, because it's a tough choice. I mean, I know, if he immediately said, I don't care, just go with the operation, I get that. That might be interesting, but I like the fact that he hesitated. That adds layers to Rock Lee's character. It adds a lot of layers, and I really like Rock Lee's arc in this one, especially considering the role that Neji and Rock Lee's memories of Neji, memories of his rivalry, have a play in it. Rivalry is a big theme throughout this entire volume. Speaking of rivalry, let's cut back to Naruto and Sasuke. Well, real quick, let me finish up with Neji. We see Neji very briefly interacting with Tenten. He's practicing his Byakugan, but it seems that his usage of the Byakugan seems to be fading somehow. We're not entirely sure how or why, but we very briefly see that he tries to sense birds in a forest, and he senses 7 birds, but in actuality there were 8. So I don't know what all that's about. Maybe his Byakugan is fading because his philosophy has been shaken by Naruto's resilience in the Chunin Exams. We don't know. I hope Neji has been changed by this. I'm really interested to see how Neji changes in the future volumes. That was a very brief thing, a very brief detail that I think was stood out to me a lot in this volume, and a lot of things stood out to me. We do see Sasuke, once he is regained consciousness, he realizes that it was Naruto who had who had gotten through the battle with Itachi mostly unscathed, and suddenly he begins to realize Naruto saved him when he was facing Orochimaru. Naruto saved him when he was facing Zabuza. All these times, Naruto has proven that in a combat situation, in a life or death situation, he is superior to Sasuke. And for the first time, that actually shakes him. That actually worries him. Because he's beginning to feel inferior. This is something interesting, because up till this point, we've seen people, I mentioned this a lot in my previous videos, in that Tsunade was changed by Naruto. Gaara was changed by interacting with Naruto. They learn from their mistakes. They learn from Naruto's philosophy. Neji does that. I believe Gaara, I already mentioned Gaara, Zabuza to some extent, but all of these people have learned from Naruto. Gosh, what was his name? Inari. All of these people, after interacting with Naruto and seeing his passion, his drive to achieve his goals, they have been inspired, and they pick themselves up and they stand up for themselves. And it's really, they learn from Naruto's philosophy and they begin to adopt it into their own. Which is it's interesting, and I really love it when these character arcs go that route. But when Tsunade took that route, I was like, okay, well, this is kind of getting old. Sasuke is basically taking the opposite. He is seeing Naruto's philosophy, and he is going like, well, great, I can't have this being better than me. So it actually turns him a little darker than usual. It is suggested that Orochimaru's mark might play a role in his mentality at this point, but he actually challenges Naruto to a fight. This has been long in the works. We know Naruto and Sasuke's rivalry has been brewing for a really long time. But like to the extent to which they get their rivalry going when they do battle, the extent to which they're determined to defeat their rival is actually really scary. Naruto pulls out the Rasengan. Sasuke pulls out the Chidori. These are all really powerful, like, A-rank moves that really should not be used in, like, a friendly sparring match. So, whenever they start using those attacks on each other, Kakashi actually steps in to stop them. They're like, guys, these moves should not be used on friends. And it just, not only does it show, like, Sasuke's mentality, it also shows how determined Naruto is to overcome Sasuke. And I don't think Sakura doesn't really play much of a role anymore in Naruto's disdain for Sasuke. He's just determined to overcome him. He's just determined to prove that he has surpassed Sasuke. So the two actually, like, have a really good rivalry going here. But Kakashi is now really worried for the both of them. Naruto finally learns about Orochimaru's mark from Sakura, but surprisingly, when Sasuke told Sakura, like, don't tell Naruto about my mark, he's just going to get worried, Naruto actually doesn't express any worry. He says, like, Sasuke will be fine, he's strong enough to overcome it, which just goes to show, I think, just how much Naruto and Sasuke have spent so much time together, so that it shows how much they've learned about each other, how much they know about each other. I recently did my Pokemon Adventures manga revisit, and I think I feel it's similar, a similar connection between Red and Blue in that manga. So by the way, I'm just gonna quick plug in, check it out if you haven't already. That, you know, they learn from each other, and their passion to overcome one another is what keeps them going throughout the manga. So I really like rivalries like that. I just love it when two people become better themselves in the process of trying to get the better of each other. It's just a great character arc. But that said, Sasuke seems to be spiraling deeper and deeper into his desire for revenge now that Itachi has returned, now that Naruto has basically surpassed him in a lot of ways. Kakashi actually he does this hilariously. Kakashi ties him up and he says, hey, first of all, you don't use the Chidori on a friend. That's just plain dangerous. And second of all, you don't use the Chidori for revenge because the revenge won't get you where you want to go. It'll leave an empty hole in your heart all the time. It's not the answer. And I know because, like, all the people I love are gone. Sasuke actually straight up threatens Kakashi, like, if you get in my way, I will kill all your loved ones. Kakashi's like, ha, sucks to be you, I don't have any loved ones. They're all dead! Something I've noticed about Kakashi is this really dry humor, because we can never see his face, but I imagine whenever he closes his eyes and raises his eyebrows that he is smiling, which I don't know if I'm supposed to be reading it like that, but it's just the way I interpret it. So, and whenever he said, like, all my loved ones are dead, you can't threaten any of them, I'm just like, huh, okay, the way you can say that without smiling, but maybe he wasn't smiling, I don't know. It's really hard for me to read Kakashi sometimes, which is one of the things I like about him. So anyway, when Kakashi leaves, Sasuke actually gets attacked by these 4 sound ninja that Kabuto sent after him, who want to take him to Master Orochimaru, and basically make him into Orochimaru's slave so that he can get the Sharingan. We know Orochimaru cannot get the Sharingan from Itachi, because Itachi is just... he's too powerful. He's going to completely wreck Orochimaru, especially now that he doesn't have usage of his arms. So Sasuke is his next best hope, and we do see Sasuke fight back against the ninja a little bit, actually drawing on the mark of Orochimaru. And we actually learn a little bit more about what that mark does. We see that the sound ninja that attack Sasuke in this bit actually have the mark as well, and Orochimaru. Service to Orochimaru is the only way to control the mark. If you don't control the mark, it will overcome you and it will overtake your body. Right now, Sasuke's mark is only in its earliest stages, so it only kills him slowly. But apparently, I'm assuming that means there are other stages further down the line in which it will kill you much more much faster. And Orochimaru, service to Orochimaru is the only way to get that mark off of you, or to at least suppress it or control its power so that you can have that much more power at your disposal at any given time. So Sasuke gives into the mark a little bit, but we haven't yet seen if he completely surrenders to the sound ninja, to Orochimaru, purely out of his desire for revenge on Itachi. I don't know, honestly. Sasuke could go either way at this point. He is an avenger. He really wants his revenge on Itachi. He is very much obsessed with it, but at the same time, he is still very much a fairly decent guy now that he has established this friendship, this relationship with Kakashi and Naruto and Sakura. Now that he has all these friends, he could go either way, and I'm hoping he goes the right direction, in my opinion. Although some good drama might come out of going evil for a little bit. So yeah, this was a pretty great volume. I'm interested to see how Naruto and Sasuke's rivalry progresses from here, now that it has basically it's approaching its peak, if not already reached it. So I'm really excited to see Naruto and Sasuke go at it again. I'm interested to see if they're going to do that Rasengan Chidori clash once again. It's really interesting seeing all these relationships build off of trying to get better than someone else. That's what a great rivalry is all about, right? Establishing this need to be better than the other person, which is why one of the things that one of the weaker rivalries, in my opinion, I think it's less of a rivalry and more of an obsession, is the rivalry between Kakashi and Might Guy. Kakashi, at this point, we haven't seen a whole lot of it yet, so maybe it might be like a legitimate rivalry between the two. But Kakashi he completely outclasses Might Guy whenever he is in the same page as him, because Might Guy seems to constantly be obsessed with just overcoming Kakashi, and Kakashi is very much aloof, so he doesn't seem like he cares too much about his rivalry with Might Guy. So it seems like a very one-sided rivalry right now. I will say there's one point where we do notice how many competitions they have had. There's a point where they go 48 competitions each. This one will put one of us over the edge. And it does show that the two of them are pretty evenly matched. I'm just not sure how believable it is for Kakashi to be really invested in this rivalry. So yeah. That was a great volume. I really liked it. And again, I'm eager to see how these rivalries progress. Yeah, so that's all I can say about that volume. Before we go, I just wanted to say, please do check out my other my other manga series, if you haven't already, Orange. It is all about a girl named Naho who receives a letter from herself 10 years in the future, telling him exactly how to avoid a disastrous fate for the one that she loves. And also, if you haven't already, do check out my Pokemon Adventures Revisited series. We've done Volume 1 so far, and it's all about Red and Blue going on their Pokemon adventures and, you know, catching Pokemon and trying to overcome one another in a rivalry not unlike this one. I like to revisit manga that I really enjoyed as a kid, so this series is all about me figuring out or like seeing how well these manga that I liked as a kid hold up as an adult. So if you haven't checked that out, please do check that out, and of course stay tuned for my next Naruto video. In that event, I will see you all next time.